Down home, cooking on Kicks Country 92.9. There's Rebecca Loebe off her new release, Circus Heart. Here's track 1, Darlin'. Rebecca Loebe lives in her car, was on the show The Voice the first season. She was on Adam Levine's team, thankfully not CeeLo Green. Because CeeLo, I call him a one-hit wonder. That's awesome. Hey, we got Rebecca in studio with us right now. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
It's good to see you again. It's been about a year.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah. You did our Christmas show last year.
Christmas show, yeah, that was so much fun.
And then you blew up.
And then things got real.
Things got real. Okay, let's just start. Everybody wants to know The Voice.
Yes.
How did you?
I've heard of it.
How did you become a participant of The Voice?
You know, the short answer is that they just emailed me out of the blue and asked if I would go to audition in Austin. Mm-hmm. And I happened to be home from tour on the Saturday that they were holding the auditions, so I figured it couldn't hurt to go. So I went. But the long story is that the whole reason that they even emailed me in the first place is that a kid that I went to middle school with moved to Los Angeles as an adult and dated a girl, gave her my CD, they broke up, and 3 years later she ended up working for the casting director who was in charge of the auditions for The Voice.
That is so cool.
And that is like the real inside of how I even heard about it in the first place. Because it was season 1, no one knew that the show existed.
No.
So why, I mean, I don't, spend my time running around auditioning for national network reality TV singing competition shows. Anyhow.
It's cool that you got on the first season, because the first season's always the best season. That's the one everybody always remembers.
The first season was real magical and sweet, and I just felt like everyone was kind of in the dark, holding hands, moving forward together. Mm-hmm. It was a really nice vibe between the contestants and the coaches and with each other. I mean, everybody was just figuring it out for the first time all together.
It's not fake. Was it?
They haven't. No,
was that even scripted at all?
No, it was actually not scripted at all. And I went out there kind of expecting it to be. I had a chip on my shoulder. I admit that fully. But what I learned, and I don't know if I can sum this up quickly, but what I learned in seeing the whole process unfold is that it is actually in the network's best interest to not script it. They need it to be as spontaneous and genuine as possible. Because we're not actors, and they're not hiring writers. Like, they can't pay us enough to make us good at pretending to feel something. All they can really do is set up the situation, put us in clothes that we wouldn't normally wear, put us on a big, pretty stage, give us songs to sing, give us a band, create the environment. But then what happens once it starts, they push play, they say go, people start singing and doing stuff. All those reactions and interactions are all totally genuine.
Wow.
Because they have to be. That is the currency that the network has to trade in. It just makes total sense.
It's funny, too, because when we were watching the show, and before you got teamed up with Adam Levine, we were all placing bets, okay, who's going to go where? We're like, well, we know Casey Weston, we know Rebecca Loebe, they're kind of country twangy. They're on Blake's team. They're going to be on Blake's team. Watch. And that's not what happened at all.
No.
And it's like, what's it like working with somebody who's not quite in your genre of music?
Well, I felt like what Adam and I had in common is the fact that he's a songwriter, and so am I. And that's why I chose to work with him over Christina, even though Christina turned around first. And it was so funny because the night that the show aired, I was at home in Atlanta with a big group of my friends, and they were all so excited. And as soon as I started singing, the room went quiet, everyone was excited just watching. But everybody was chattering and laughing and giggling and, excited, oh my God, someone's going to turn around, what's going to happen? And they had been all night making jokes you better not work with Christina, because my friends are snobby and felt like it would be in some way bad to work with Christina. So
You'd be drunk.
So then when Christina turned around, the whole room just went silent. It was the air came out of it, and they all look at me oh my God, do you work with Christina? It was a good 30, 40 seconds till Adam turned around. And then Adam turned around and that cut the tension and everyone relaxed. It was oh, you better work with Adam.
Because you got to pick.
I did. I got to pick between Christina and Adam. And I will say, honestly, Christina was so kind to me and her feedback was so positive and she really seemed to dig what was happening from an artistic perspective. And if I didn't know anything about either of their careers, I probably would have chosen Christina just based on the energy that she was giving me. But I chose to work with Adam because we share songwriting. And I feel like although Christina has some involvement in her more recent albums with the writing, Adam launched his career as a songwriter. And that's what I'm looking to.
And he produces his own stuff, too.
Right. I've been supporting myself as a traveling songwriter for 5 years, supporting myself on the songs that I write in my little brain and then put out there into the world for people to hear. So I felt like if I was going to get 5 minutes alone with either of those people to talk about, what they've learned in the industry and how it might help me, Adam would have more insight to share that's applicable.
Did he actually listen to your original material?
I don't know.
Yeah?
I don't know. I mean, there wasn't really time for that because I got, in the next phase, we were just preparing for the battle rounds, which was the performance at we performed the Radiohead song.
I would have dropped a CD in his duffel bag or something.
Honestly, I took about 10 CDs with me to the studio that day, but they're tricky. They have you leave all your stuff in one space, and then you go to hair and makeup, and then you go straight from there into the place where you're filming. I tried to take a CD.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, let me go ahead
Tried and failed.
Let me go ahead and play another track from Rebecca Loebe off her new CD called Circus Heart. Here is Bad Reputation. We're down home cooking on Kicks Country.